I'm Rob from Barefoot Gaming, and today we review Trover Saves the Universe in virtual reality. Now I'm going to start off by telling you, you play this game as a Cherorpian going after a beaked Glorkin. Now, if that doesn't make sense, good, because the whole game is nonsensical. But it's very much in the stylings of Rick and Morty. The reason for that is obviously one of the writers of Rick and Morty is the one that wrote this game, and this is made by Squanch Tendo. You have the option right off the bat of choosing to play either in full profanity mode or to play an edited version. The game is entirely controller based, which is something you should know. And I'm going to talk about the mechanics as we go along. Now, before I do that, this game is available on the HTC Vive, the Oculus Rift. Again, it doesn't show Windows Mixed Reality. Guys, test this stuff on Windows Mixed Reality. Something else I should mention is this is a seated only game. Now, I tried doing all the recording for this standing because it records better so you can see the gameplay, except when you're standing, everything starts going gray when you turn around. The game is not designed for 360 movement. It still works, but snap turning is a must. You cannot just turn completely around in the real world to turn around in the game. How else can you tell that it comes from the console world? It is gamepad only. But in this case, it requires enough buttons and precision control that gamepad makes the most sense. So I use an Xbox One controller. Any functional gamepad for your PC will work fine. If you're playing this on PSVR, obviously you don't have to worry about it. You're gonna have a gamepad. So what else? We have single player only. Like I said, it's a seated game, and the game lasts around 6-ish hours. Roughly, depending on how long you spend trying to find all the little extras and stuff. And the extras do matter. Now, more important than anything else is whether you find this humor style funny. If you don't like Rick and Morty, you're either not gonna like this game or you have the option of turning off all the audio, but that humor style definitely runs throughout, and there is a lot of dialogue in this game. The gameplay looks all right. I would say it looks, you know what, I'd say it looks good for VR. I hate putting that caveat in there, but to be honest, it looks good for VR. There is nothing exceptional about the controls. One of the obstacles they overcame where you're playing a third-person game like Trover is sometimes you'll have things directly in your way, right? So you are playing this guy that has a gamepad that is controlling Trover and running around to save the dogs that were stuffed into big dude's eye holes. And sometimes you can't see where he's going, and very early on what it'll do is it'll give you the option to elevate your chair to multiple different levels and drop it back down. So not only are you snap turning, but you're controlling what height you're viewing everything from, which is actually pretty smart, and especially as it plays into the game. So without getting too wrapped up into the actual gameplay, and you're gonna see the gameplay, you're gonna know how this thing plays. Let's list some pros, let's list some cons. This thing goes for $34 Canadian, 30 US, 30 pounds for my friends across the pond. Pros, the game I found very funny. I like Rick and Morty, and I found it funny pretty much from beginning to end. The game doesn't take itself too seriously. Very early on, you run into a puzzle that has 3 different levels, and the first level is really easy, the second one's moderate, third one is quite difficult, and the game says, you know what, this isn't fun. This is not a fun puzzle. And then it just shows you how to, it just moves through it. So you don't have to do it. So the game is very, I guess it's kind of meta in the sense that it knows it's a game, and it's very lighthearted aside from the profanity, which I had on because I get a kick out of the humor style, and you really experience it in its fullness with all of the profanity. That's how they write it, and it's funny to me. Oftentimes collectibles feel like an add-on. Plus there's an unlockable at the end if you can find all these little funny baby things. And I actually found them fun to look for. Your character has power-ups. Now, I took some time to think about how much fun the gameplay was and how much of the fun was coming from the voiceovers. And honestly, if the voiceovers were gone, the game would just be okay. It would probably still be a recommended from me, but with the voiceovers, again, being a fan, I really have to keep saying that. If you haven't seen Rick and Morty, watch a little clip. If you don't find it funny, you're not probably going to like this game. But I enjoyed it. I am giving this thing a 4.25 out of 5, which is actually a pretty glowing review considering it is just a platformer. It doesn't do anything that other games haven't already done. And the gameplay wasn't exceptional, the gameplay itself. But the gameplay lent itself along with the voice acting so well and the story that it was just fun. It was a fun game. So 4.25 out of 5, that is my score. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want to know when our stuff's coming out, that's the only way you're going to know. Like, comment. If you have a question, I will do my best to help you out. I will talk to you again real soon. See ya.